We are entering the official Mount Jefferson Wilderness, Deschutes National Forest. Today is August 12th, 2022. We're on Three Finger Jack Loop, starting from the Santiam Pacific Crest Trail launching point on the south side. And we are doing an 11-mile, 1,400-foot elevation gain hike, basically turning right at the Old Summit Trail, going to Square Lake, Booth Lake, and I'm gonna press on beyond that and go to First Creek as my turnaround point. And look at that, our first distant views, the mighty Three Finger Jack. I love the epicness of the second you enter Mount Jefferson Wilderness, you are greeted with a beautiful shot of Three Finger Jack. Still see kind of between the trees. This is about a 24-mile loop if you're backpacking, which is, I would argue, one of the top 2 or 3 backpacking loops in Central Oregon. Hyper popular. There's several places along this trail where you can get a truly epic shot of Three Finger Jack. I would say one of the best is, of course, the Northeast Quadrant Canyon Creek Meadow section. Climb to the top of that zone. You'll actually be able to see the cirque right next to Three Finger Jack. Three Finger Jack's about 7,000 feet, so it's not that tall of a mountain. Cirque can be turquoise at times, so it's quite beautiful. This is one of your 2 best choices. I would say the other one is the map, where the Climbers Trail area is, and a little past that. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. There's one section where you climb really high up on the main Pacific Crest Trail, and you come around a corner and you're like right next to Jefferson, like it's a direct money shot. So highly recommend that as well. Those are probably your 2 best money shots of Mount Three Finger Jack. Middle of the west side, past the Climbers Trail section, and the Northeast Quadrant Canyon Creek Meadows at the top of that. So if you're just looking for the most epic Three-Fingered Jack mountain shot you can get, you want to focus on those 2 spots. But this is such a beautiful area, hopefully, as you can see, that I think the entire 24-mile loop is worth doing. I like to break it up into 3-day hikes. And I'm doing one of them right now. And what is this we are coming upon? This is the beautiful and mighty Square Lake. It's pretty early in the day still, so we're not getting that blue glisten that you would get, but maybe we'll get that on the way back. Look at that. There is the mighty tip of the Three Finger Jack. Here is our beautiful Square Lake. As I said, a lot of people really like to do this 24-mile backpacking trip. So Square Lake is a very popular pit stop, backcountry camping for a night, an overnight camping zone. So particularly the north side. Oh man, look at these views of Mount Jefferson. I'm sorry, Mount Three Finger Jack. Funny, there's so many mountains in this area. I'm like, behind me is Mount Washington. Over to the left is Mount Jefferson. Here's Three Finger Jack. We're in Mount Jefferson Wilderness. It's easy to get your nomenclature transposed. Don't you hate it when you transpose your nomenclature? If I had a nickel for every time I heard somebody walking down the street saying, darn it, I transposed my nomenclature again. I'm probably the only human being in the world that talks like that, but hey, that's how I roll. I wanted to do a backcountry campsite review. Quadrant just past the turnoff for Old Summit Lake. We kept going straight towards Round Lake. Come up to this area. You probably put your tent there underneath this tree. Does not look like a deadfall risk to me. And then straight ahead here, stepping over this log, we've got direct Square Lake access for your water and filter and so forth. So not a bad spot. Also mentioned, as I just saw it as I walked by it, doesn't look like it's much to it, just kind of a little outcropping. So there it is. Got our tent here. Pretty cool backcountry campsite. And as we're climbing towards Booth Lake from our close friend Square Lake, starting to have the views open up. Today is August 12th, 2022. Started this early in the morning at about 6:10. It's probably getting close to about 8 by now. The Fahrenheit is ticking up, which I am always very sensitive to. Hydration management, temperature management is always my number one focus. Single biggest threat for me is always long distance day hiking is always going to be my hydration. Look at that. That is gorgeous. So we started on the other side of that ridge to the right, hiked down to Square Lake. We were basically shoreline there for a bit, and now we're hiking up and out of the area above it towards Booth Lake. This is the southeast quadrant of the Three Finger Jack Loop, 24-mile loop, one of the 2 best backpacking loops in Central Oregon. And we are on the southeast burnout side, ascending to Booth Lake. There was 3 good backcountry camping spots in the northwest quadrant of Square Lake. 2 of them were occupied with campers. One of them was not, so I did a video review of the one that was not. This area is beautiful. I'm on the south side of Booth Lake, came from Santiam past Pacific Crest Trail, and I wanted to stop and take a look at the area. If you're a backpacker coming through here, oftentimes you either stay at this lake, which is Booth Lake, or Square Lake, which is a couple miles south of me. I thought I'd give you some better views of Booth Lake. There's a little bit of area you can camp up there. It's kind of flat, grasslandy. It's not too pretty, the actual land, but it would work. This is obviously a classic burnout area, some fires long ago. The area across the way seems to have like the lowest concentration of burnout, but it's on a little bit of a angle. So I'm gonna go over there and check that out as well. But not a ton of great places to camp at Booth Lake, but I do think Booth Lake is a better area than Square Lake. Square Lake's got 3 designated spots on the northwest side, and there might be some backcountry style bushwhack on the east side. So if you really want a backcountry pre-designated spot, then you probably do Square Lake. But if you want a little bit more of a proper Mount Jefferson Wilderness experience and more privacy, I would do this lake, Booth Lake. So choice is yours based on your priorities. Look at the incredible, beautiful Booth Lake. I've traversed over here to the western shoreline, currently hiking this way. I was scoping out the camping prospects for Booth Lake. I would not come to this western shore. Hear a little squish of water each step. I gotta put shoes on, so I'm not worried about me, but you're not gonna wanna put your tent here. And let's stop and pan back, getting a little bit of a glisten. Our close, trusty friend, Booth Lake. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. The trail's on the exact opposite side of where we're at right now. Kind of fun to get to this side and kind of get right up on the water like this. Well worth capturing the beauty of mighty Booth Lake. I am